Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about 7 signs that you are sabotaging your dates or your relationships without even knowing it. Now these are things that can happen in any kind of relationship and to anyone, so please watch this video till the end to find out if you relate to any of these things if we can recognize these behaviors, then we can make changes. So the first sign is that you keep idealizing the person that you are dating. Now we all have the tendency to put people on a pedestal, especially when we like them a lot. But if you are doing it too much, you're basically putting them on a pedestal which is higher than where they actually deserve to be. So what happens is that you will expect from that person more than what they are able to give or what they are capable of giving, and when they fail to meet those expectations that you have set in your head, you feel disappointed and you feel sad. Now, this is not only going to lead to a lot of frustration for you, but also this person might start feeling the pressure of living up to those expectations that you have in your head for them, and they would probably fail to do that. So either you are going to feel disappointed or the other person is going to feel the pressure, and this is going to cause a lot of problems in your relationship or in your date. So how do you avoid this? Well, one thing that you can do is get to know the person a little better before you start liking them too much. Spend time with them, talk to them, find out who they are, what they like, what they don't like, what their interests are, etc. And once you know enough about them, once you have an idea of who they are, then put them on the pedestal. Don't put them on a pedestal right from the beginning, because that is just setting yourself up for disappointment. The second sign is that you are emotionally closed off. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any boundaries, but it means that if you're not ready to open up, if you're not ready to tell the person how you feel, then don't expect them to tell you how they feel. Now, a relationship is built on the foundation of trust. So if you're not ready to trust them, if you're not ready to be vulnerable around them, then don't expect them to open up to you or trust you, because most people assume that if they like someone, if they want that person to like them back, then it is enough for the other person to also like them. But that's not true. The other person has to like you back. They have to trust you. They also have to be comfortable being vulnerable around you, just like you have to be comfortable being vulnerable around them. So don't expect them to open up to you or be vulnerable around you if you are not ready to do that yourself. If you want them to be vulnerable around you, if you want them to open up to you, then you should also be ready to do that yourself. The third sign is that you are afraid of commitment. Now, this is something that is very common, especially in this generation. People are afraid of committing to one person because they're afraid of missing out on other opportunities. They're afraid of being tied down, and they're afraid of losing their freedom. Now, this is understandable because we all want to explore and we all want to experience new things, but at some point you have to decide whether you want to be in a relationship or not. If you want to be in a relationship, then you have to be willing to commit to that person. You have to be willing to give them your time, your energy, and your attention. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't explore or that you shouldn't have fun, but it means that you should be willing to prioritize that person in your life. You should be willing to make time for them in your busy schedule. You should be willing to make sacrifices for them if that's what the situation calls for. Otherwise, don't lead them on. Don't give them false hopes. It is better to be honest with them from the beginning rather than hurting them later on. The fourth sign is that you are constantly comparing them with your past partners. Now, there's nothing wrong with having standards. In fact, it is a good thing to have standards, because it means that you know what you want and what you are worth. But if you're constantly comparing your current partner with your past partners, then it is not a good thing, because that means that you are not giving this person a chance. You're not giving this relationship a chance. You are approaching this relationship with a lot of baggage from your past relationships, and that is not fair to either you or your current partner and will. Every relationship is different. So just because your last relationship didn't work out doesn't mean that this one won't. So if you want this relationship to work, if you want to give it a chance, then don't compare them with your past partners. Don't bring your past baggage into this relationship, because it's going to create a lot of problems for you in the future. The fifth sign is being too critical of your partner. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any expectations or that you shouldn't have any standards, but being overcritical of everything is destructive. Everybody has their own flaws and everybody makes mistakes. So if you're too critical of your partner, if you're constantly finding fault with them, then you are not creating a positive environment, and that is not going to lead to a happy relationship. Now, I am not saying that you should ignore the red flags or the things that are deal breakers for you, but that you should be reasonable with your expectations. The sixth sign is that you are always trying to change them. Now, this is something that is very common and very toxic, and it is a big red flag if you're trying to change someone. It means that you are trying to change who they are, which is not okay. If you care about someone, then you accept them for who they are. You don't try to change them. You don't try to mold them into the person that you want them to be because that isn't right. So if you're trying to change who they are, then stop doing it because it is not healthy. It is not going to lead to a happy relationship, and it is also going to push them away. So if you care about them, then accept them for who they are. Don't try to change them. And the seventh sign is that you are not making any effort. Now, this doesn't mean that you should do everything for them, but it means that you should be willing to put in the effort. You should be willing to work on the relationship. A relationship is not something that you just sit back and enjoy. It is something that you have to work on. You have to put in the effort. You have to be willing to compromise. You have to be willing to make sacrifices if that's what the situation calls for. So if you're not making any effort, if you're not willing to put in the work, then the relationship probably won't thrive and will end. I hope this helps you make positive changes in your approach in the future relationships. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.